There are crimes you can see coming, and then there are the ones you only recognize after they've rearranged the world around you. This story began not with a bang, but with a simple alert of red banner sliding across millions of phones on an ordinary morning. Global hotel network compromised, travelers exposed. At first, people laughed it off. Another breach, another leak? It felt like just another headline in a world full of them. But within hours, the tone shifted. This wasn't about someone stealing credit card numbers to go on a shopping spree. This was someone collecting itineraries, passport scans, room numbers, the entire history of where 500 million people slept, met, cheated, hid, and negotiated their lives. And the most chilling part, not a single stolen record ever appeared for sale on the dark web. Not one. Who steals an entire population's movements and refuses to make a single dollar from it? The question hung in the air, heavy and unanswered. To find the beginning, we have to go back for years. It all started with an email that didn't set off any alarms. It didn't explode or freeze a computer screen. It was just an invoice. A boring, beige, harmless-looking invoice. An accountant in the finance department opened it, and nothing happened, or so it seemed. But behind that digital silence, a ghost slipped into the system. It moved like water seeping through invisible cracks, quietly noting the rhythms of the digital city it had just entered. There were no sudden movements, no loud alarms. Just observation logging logins, employee habits, peak business hours, and the network's blind spots. Within days, it acquired the digital equivalent of a hotel manager's master key, granting it access to nearly everything. Within weeks, it learned how to rewrite its own footprints, erasing any evidence of its presence. And within months, it had blended in so perfectly that even the company's own cybersecurity audits metaphorically shook its hand and welcomed it as an employee. While guests were busy checking in, checking out, and checking their bills, the intruder was checking everything else. It didn't steal information quickly in a smash and grab. It harvested it slowly, patiently. Like a farmer tending to fields of personal details, names, credit card numbers, passport scans, birthdays, and travel patterns. It was building a living, breathing anatomy of human movement. 2 years into this silent occupation, the hotel chain made the biggest business decision of its decade, a merger. Billions of dollars were on the line, signatures were exchanged, and a new global empire was formed. But when two massive corporations combine, their data collides. Their complex systems intertwine, and, critically, their security weaknesses merge, too. In the noise and celebration of this new corporate giant, one tiny, crucial question was never asked: who checked the old network for intruders before we integrated it? The answer: no one. During the corporate restructuring that followed, the very engineers who intimately understood the old system's architecture were laid off, their knowledge walking out the door with them. The new IT team inherited a digital maze they didn't build and didn't fully understand. And deep inside that maze, the intruder smiled. Because now it knew the network better than the very humans paid to run it. For the next 2 years, the breach evolved into something far more sophisticated than simple theft. It became a form of surveillance archaeology. The hackers weren't just collecting information anymore, they were categorizing it. They created detailed folders: diplomats, CEOs, scientists, travelers who frequently visited politically tense regions, people who always paid with cash, married guests who consistently requested separate rooms. It became clear that someone wasn't trying to steal identities to open fraudulent credit cards. Someone was trying to understand patterns of power, influence, and secrecy on a global scale. The end came suddenly, for years after the silent break-in began. A junior analyst, working a lonely midnight shift, noticed something strange. A user account that had been inactive for years suddenly pulled gigabytes of highly sensitive data in mere seconds, a digital smash and grab that was completely out of character for the system. The analyst froze. He recognized the username. It belonged to a man who'd been fired 2 years ago during the merger. In that moment, instinct took over. He slammed a network lockdown button. Screens across the building turned bright red, phones began ringing off the hook. Within hours, the FBI took over the investigation. For the first time in 1,400 days, the ghost felt a door slam in its face. Over the next month, forensic teams dug through every corner of the network's digital corpse. What they found was staggering. There was a master file containing the detailed records of hundreds of millions of guests. They found carefully organized folders sorted by profession, influence, and travel habits. They uncovered lists of government travelers with their stay patterns cross-linked with major global events. This wasn't a hack, it was a population study. A meticulously crafted map of how the world secretly moves. When investigators started comparing their findings with other major global breaches from the past few years from health records, government personnel files, and credit histories, the picture became undeniable. Someone somewhere was building a database of databases. A complete, three-dimensional portrait of people's identities, their weaknesses, and their geography. This wasn't for money, this was for strategy. A surveillance empire crafted in absolute silence. When the news finally went public, the world cracked. Phones rang nonstop as people tried to understand the scale of their exposure. Spouses began asking uncomfortable questions about past trips. Corporations scrambled to contain the fallout. Governments across the globe panicked, realizing their officials were now completely exposed. People weren't just scared of stolen credit cards anymore. They were terrified of what the data implied. Where you were last month, who you met with overseas, which conferences you attended, which cities you claimed you didn't visit, but your hotel bill said you did. Privacy wasn't just lost, it was now documented, sorted, and analyzed by an unknown entity. The aftermath was chaotic, lawsuits piled up. Executives denied responsibility, politicians pointed fingers at everyone else. Corporations promised industry-leading security for the future. But one truth echoed louder than all the noise. The hackers lived inside the system for 4 years. Because no one wanted to believe they could. This crime wasn't committed by thrill-seeking teenagers or common basement criminals. This was patient, methodical, strategic, and above all, silent. The intruders didn't want money, they wanted patterns. And patterns reveal everything. Where power sleeps, where influence meets, and where secrets breathe. The victims in this story weren't just hotel guests. They were stories, they were movements, they were maps. And someone, somewhere, now owns the deepest, most detailed version of all those maps. So the next time you check into a hotel, when the receptionist smiles and asks for your passport, when you casually swipe your card to pay for your room, remember this story. You're not just booking a room. You're leaving breadcrumbs. You're adding to the evidence of your life's geography. You're providing clues for someone patient enough to collect them. Because the world's biggest heist wasn't about money, it was about people. And the most dangerous thing a thief can steal is where you've been, who you met, and what you were trying to hide. If you found this story gripping, or even a little unsettling, don't leave without supporting the channel. Like this video to help it reach more people. Comment with your thoughts. Do you think we're any safer now than we were then? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more crime narration episodes every week. Your support helps us keep telling these important stories. Thanks for watching.